What's up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Now, today I just saw a little indie film titled Luce, which of course made its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival back in January, with great reviews, by the way. Like, it has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, but the film was also directed by Julius Anna, whose last film was that horrendous, awful Cloverfield movie, which was Cloverfield Paradox. So I didn't really have that much high hopes for this movie because of that alone. But he did pair a really good cast that included Naomi Watts, Tim Roth, Octavia Spencer. So I was still curious to see it. And I gotta say, Luke was an okay little film. I mean, talk about an interesting follow-up. I mean, his first film, Cloverfield Paradox, was horrendous. But his second film actually ended up being pretty decent. Like, that's sometimes usually rare, where a director's directorial debut ends up being terrible, but their sophomore ends up being much better. I mean, it shows of how good of a director could be. So you know, Simon Kingberg, take notes there. Like, just because Dark Phoenix was terrible, who knows? Maybe his next film might end up being good. So, hey, that should give lots of directors hope, like new directors and directorial debut directors hope. But anyway, now in Luce, it stars this actor named Kelvin Harrison Jr., who of course broke out in this movie called It Comes at Night, which was not that good to be honest, yeah. But he was actually good in it, and he plays the title character of Luce, who was born in Eritrea but was raised in a upper middle class American household by a pair of woke white folks played by Naomi Watts and Tim Roth. Who, by the way, Tim Roth and Naomi Watts was also in the movie Funny Game, so I kind of find that pretty cool that they're in this together. But of course, it wasn't really easy for this pretty much former child soldier to adjust his like new life, and so we're of course told through like a dialogue from with like an explosion at first, and he pretty much the film starts with him giving a speech at assembly, and I really dug the speeches he gave in this. They were really powerful, and they were really inspirational. Some really good speeches he gave in this. And so now, he also serves as a captain of a basketball team who pretty much seems to be like on the right track to become a valedictorian. And he of course seems to be on the right track of being like a valedictorian of his senior class and all. But that's until like Luce's teacher named Harriet Wilson, played by Octavia Spencer, who deputized herself to search like his locker, and she ends up finding like illegal fireworks. So she's trying to take him, pretty much get him like in trouble, and she's really unstable, and she also has a very unstable sister, played by this actress named Marsha Stephanie Blake, who was also just seen in that Netflix series When They See Us. And so there's that. And Octavia Spencer. I mean, what a year for her. She was just in the movie Ma, which I think is probably the best performance she's ever given in recent years. I thought she was great in Ma, and she was. I thought Octavia Spencer was outstanding in this. Her interaction with Luce is it's really intense, and her character ends up pretty much being like very unstable. And there's also like a scene where some people make some racial post some racial slurs on her like on her front porch, like on her doors and all, and she ends up thinking that Luce that did it, and we never really find out if it was really him or not, which I would love to see who actually really did the graffiti and all. But it turns out, of course, it wasn't Luce, because he's actually a really, the character of Luce is a really good kid. Like, his friends aren't that great. Like, his friends end up getting into trouble, getting into fights. And one of his friends, by the way, is played by this actor named Astro, who who I thought was great in this. I really like that kid Astro. I've seen him pop up in. He was of course he was like a runner-up on I think the X Factor, if I'm not mistaken. And since then, he appeared in stuff like Red Band Society. He's appeared in like a few other stuff as well. So, and he was also just seen in that TNT show I Am the Night. I mean, I think this dude's a really talented actor, so it was pretty cool seeing him in this. And Calvin Harrison Jr., I thought he gave a great performance here. Like, he gave a really star-studded performance. And there's also like there is also some very racial tensions in this film. I mean, it has a little bit of a feel of Crash. Remember the movie, the Oscar-winning movie, obviously Crash. It has a bit of a feel of that. Then, of course, some people also might question whether Miss Wilson's like ever ends up overstepping her bounds and and she ends up violating Luce's privacy and of course looking in his locker and all that and of course Luce was also a child soldier and this movie is also based on a play, which is pretty cool there too. I thought it was pretty cool that this film was based on a play. And there's also this actress named Andrea Bang who plays this character named Stephanie Kim, who it, who there's like rumors going around that Luce ended up violating her and stuff like that storyline. She ended up dating Luce, and there's like some rumors about him like violating her or whatever. There are also some very tense moments. Like there's a tense moment that happens between Miss Harriet's sister that was really intense to watch. Of course, Naomi Watts. I mean, she's Naomi Watts. Naomi Watts is just amazing. I mean, how on earth she doesn't have an Oscar is pretty much still beyond me because I think I've always adored Naomi Watts and she was terrific in this. And Tim Roth. I mean, he's Tim Roth after all. Tim Roth is always great. I thought he was decent. You also had Norbert Leo Butz who plays like who pretty much plays the principal. So there's that too. Yeah, I thought this movie was really intense and with great performances by Harrison Jr., by Octavia Spencer. I mean, the movie is pretty draggy to be honest as well. Like it is a little bit slow and there's stuff that happen like there's also storylines that happen that never get resolved like for example the aforementioned the scene where where Mrs. Harris' house of course get vandalized. Like we do not really know who really vandalized her house. Like it never gets explained. And I don't want to give too much details away because I don't know how many people still haven't seen this movie, and I don't want to spoil much of it. But yeah, I thought it was a really interesting thrill ride. Like it was also, I guess you could call this a thriller, but it was more of a drama than just a straight thriller. Like in the trailer, they actually made it look like a thriller, but it turned out it was just a serious drama. But yeah, really. Oh, and the ending, I didn't really care much for the ending too. Like I kind of wish they had a bit of a better, a pretty better last half. But other than that, with the performances, the intensity of it, with all that, that kind of is forgiven. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review for Luce. Anyway, let me leave it to you guys. Did you have a chance to check out Luce? If so, what you thought of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Team Movie signing off.